Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm reading today for Gemini energy and I'm reading ahead for December, and I'm asking, what do we need to get rid of, leave behind, stop doing in 2023, and what do we need to embrace and do more of and kind of lean into going into 2024? Like, what's good for us, what's bad for us? Help us out here, spirit. We're bad at thinking for ourselves. Or at least I am. I've got a Gemini moon, so I get it, Geminis. Sometimes you need a grown-up to help you out. Okay, so speaking of which, your song that's come through is Highest in the Room. It's a Sofia Karlberg cover. I think the original song is by Travis Scott. I'm not familiar with Travis Scott. But yeah, Highest in the Room. So Gems, you know, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. But it's funny because it seemed to back up what I was getting intuitively for you. I'm doing all the air signs today and I'm kind of feeling this kind of like superhero energy. I've kind of got like different versions of this superhero meme that's coming through for each star sign. And Gemini, you're coming through as a bit like you're going into your villain era. I was kind of getting Wonder Woman and Superman, but you feel a bit like, you know, like dark Superman, like when Superman goes bad is the way that I'm reading it. Now, I'm not saying that you're a bad person or anything like that. The way it's coming through is sort of like doing something because you think it's right, doing something because that's what heroes do. So it's like you've gone into a situation trying to do the right thing or trying to help out, but it's kind of like backfired. A little bit like, oh God, that's a really good example. You know that film with Will Smith where he's a superhero? Hancock, and he's trying to save the day, but everybody gets mad at him. And they're all like, oh my God, stop ruining the city. And he's like, I'm trying to help, God's sake. That's kind of what you feel like. You feel like you've got into something with the best of intentions, but then you sat there going, oh my God, did I make a mistake? Am I doing the right thing? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? So if that's resonating, hopefully this reading is going to make some sense to you. If not, like, give it a little bit more time. Let's see what kind of comes through. But I do ask in this set of readings for kind of like clarifiers or identifiers, so that if this reading is for you, you should know. So the song should make some kind of sense. Maybe it's just a name, maybe somebody's called Sophia or Carl or Berg, I don't know, Travis, Scott, like there's lots of names in there. Maybe you've been getting a little bit high, no judgment. But the letters that have come through for you are U, Q and N. It's kind of looking like Queen to me, but take it however it resonates to you. Could be initials, it could be an acronym, it could just make you think of something. And the numbers on this are 1, 10, 1, and you've got arrow, great, and flutter. Great flutter is making me think of like, you know, like your heart's a flutter. Flutter makes me think of butterflies. You are known as like the butterfly of the zodiac, Gemini. And arrow makes me think of Sagittarius because they're the archer. But as I say, it should be making some sort of sense to you. I don't have to understand the message. It's not for me, right? I'm just the messenger, right? I'm just Mercury today. Incidentally, anything I mention in a reading is part of the reading. If I'm mentioning Mercury, maybe you need to go and check out your Mercury placement. Also, you are ruled by Mercury. It's the messenger of the gods along with Virgo. So if any of that's making sense, this could be the reading for you. Also give it time. Sometimes I can do a reading for myself and I think, absolute nonsense, what are you talking about? Why are you making this so difficult for me? It's making me think of Capricorn's reading. Capricorn have had this weird kind of like silencing energy recently where it's like I just can't get the messages through. It's the strangest thing. So yeah, it's kind of like Leo as well had like mixed messages. So sometimes the message can just make absolutely no sense, and I'll think, have I lost it, kind of thing. And then I'll like watch a TV show and what I've been channeling is exactly that TV show. Or, you know, I'll kind of go about my day and all the signs that came through in the reading will be just there, like plastered like billboards in my life. So yeah, just because it doesn't resonate instantly when you watch it, still bear it in mind. And if anything does come up, maybe you want to come back to the reading and just kind of like go, oh, actually, what does that mean in context? It kind of happened to me as well with a couple of other readings this week. One of the fire signs, kind of, again, I was kind of like, what is this? And then I start to, even though I don't like to read for people that I know, I try to kind of be like general Gemini energy and keep kind of like people I know out of my mind. still people come in as like references. Like, I'm human, right? I'm fallible. So I can be doing a reading and I'll think, oh my God, is this person's reading? Is this person's reading? And then kind of, you know, somebody will, like, I don't know, somebody will say something and I'll be like, oh God, it was their reading. Oh, wow, I did not see that coming. So maybe this is the thing. Maybe it's for you. Sorry, I talk too fast and too much in certain signs, and Gemini is one of them. I'll try and slow down a bit. I talk with my hands a lot as well. That's another Mercury thing. Okay, so yeah, I feel like maybe I do feel like maybe you've said something accidentally and now you're like, oh no. I think it's mentioned in that Sofia Karlberg song, the idea of kind of like, oh, have I said too much? Did I let something slip? Did I say the wrong thing? And then kind of being like, oh my God, am I the bad guy? Am I like, is everybody gonna hate me now? It could be that sort of thing. Okay. Gemini does tend to be a more chatty sign, but again, we're all individuals, right? We've all got an individual birth chart. And if you're not familiar with that concept, I do always put a link in the description box where you can go and click that link. I'm not affiliated or anything like that. It's just a website that I use that's absolutely free, and it's very, very helpful for learning your birth chart placements and kind of like starting to dabble in kind of what that all means. So if it is really overwhelming and it can be a lot of information all in one go, so if you're new to that and you want to go and check that out, all you need really, it does ask for your birth time, but you don't have to have your birth time. You can still get a lot of your placements without your actual birth time, as long as you know where you were born and the date. You can get quite a lot of information, and with that you can go and get your Mercury placements. And your Mercury for me, the way I understand it, rules communication and friendships. For me, it's kind of like the aspect that rules how you are in social situations. Yeah, for example, my Mercury placement is Libra, so I can be a bit of a diplomat. You know, I can kind of like see both sides of the story. I can kind of like talk people around. You know, it's kind of that how Libra is, but that's how you are in social situations. So Gemini Mercury would be probably very, very chatty, quite a lot of intellectual discourse as well. You know, they like to get into kind of like the deeper topics, like, you know, they really like a good discussion. I always find as well, I don't know why this came up today, but earth signs, I think because I was talking about it in Cappy's reading, the idea of a Capricorn Mercury placement, earth sign Mercury placements tend to communicate with little acts of kindness. They do things. So for example, you know, they might buy you your favorite cake, or always be the one in the office kind of like who gets you your favorite coffee when you're feeling sad, or they'll write you a little letter, or they'll just work hard, right? Like Virgo Mercury kind of like works hard for the friends. So it's all about kind of like how you demonstrate and how you communicate, and not everybody communicates with words. So again, do check out your Mercury placement. I don't know why it's coming up so strongly, but definitely worth investigating if you haven't done that yet. Okay, so my guides, what do we have for Gemini for December? What are Gemini being encouraged to kind of leave behind in 2023? And what do we want to embrace and do more of? What's good for Gemini or good for the situation? What are we giving up? What are we getting rid of? What are we stopping doing? Why does this keep coming up? This is the strangest card to come out in this position. A few signs have had this. I can't remember specifically which ones, because I've done all the earth signs and all the fire signs so far, and I'm getting a really bad pain in my right ear. It's funny as well, she almost looks like she's holding her right ear, doesn't she? It's kind of like, she almost looks like she's got one arm up there. What's she got there? It almost looks like a record, right? Like an old-fashioned record, like a vinyl. There could be a message about there's this like trumpet here. Be careful about your hearing, Geminis. You might have to go for a hearing test, or be careful if you're like around loud music or loud sounds. Anything that's like too loud, it could damage your hearing. Even like hair dryers, they're showing me. Just be careful about your hearing at the moment. Just a side message there. Yeah. Why would we're gonna have to get more information. This is the third time the Sun card has come up as what you need to give up. Maybe like using sunbeds. I don't know why it's coming through for you like that. It's like maybe you're using too many sunbeds, or you're not using, or you're out in the sun a lot. Maybe you work in the sun. Like maybe you do like field work, or building work or something like that, where you're in outdoors in the sunshine quite a lot. I mean, for me, it's November and it's very overcast and kind of cold today. But if you are in a situation where you're exposed to literal sunlight quite a lot, just make sure things like, you're wearing skin protection, you've got, the right kind of clothing for that. We'll get more information on that. So, what is Gemini being asked to embrace or do more of for 2024? What is Gemini being... We'll pull more cards, guys. We will clarify. Ooh! Oh, well, that's not a bad trade, is it? Give up the sun and get the romance. I mean, some of you are like, no, I want it the other way around. I am done with a romance. But you're being asked to embrace this in some sort of way. It's like, it always gives me, open your heart to me, baby. Like, you've got the lock. No, you are the lock and I am the key, right? It's making me think of Birdcage as well. I'm from Manchester in the UK, and there was this club called the Birdcage, and I never went to it, and I'm kicking myself because it closed down. But it was like drag queens, like big kind of glamorous kind of like shows and things, and I'm so sad that didn't go. It's kind of making me think of that, and like the Robbie Williams film as well, The Birdcage. Okay. I feel like there's going to be something about the numbers in this reading. We've got 1 and 33 so far. Maybe you've seen a lot of number patterns. Okay, what's on the underline? Oh, man holding a heart. Okay, someone wants to romance you. And the heart chakra. Oh my God, somebody is in the feelings about you, Gemini, 100%. It's up to you whether you take it or not, but I think the universe is asking you to be open to the idea of romance. And it doesn't have to be a specific person, right? It could even just be, okay, watch some romance movies, or read some romance novels. Maybe you're not actually looking for a relationship. Maybe you're in a relationship and you're just feeling a little bit flat. And you're like, ugh, I need more romance in my life. It could just be like, he does look a bit, is it Mills and Boon? What are those books that are like, they've got like the trashy romance novels? Kind of like trashy but good, if you know what I'm saying. So it's not really to my taste. I've never really been inclined towards that. I kind of like, oh no, flip through those sections. But I know, like, some people absolutely love it. I've been following, is her name Liz Shipton? She's an author on TikTok, and she's, talking about kind of writing romance novels and like what people want from them, and kind of like, I don't know. So I don't know. There's definitely a big following for that. So yeah, it could just be something as simple as that. Look at these two together. Look at these three together. Like, big time heart energy. Like, you've got a heart here with daughter romance. It's like, open your heart, right? A man holding a heart. It's like somebody wearing the heart on the sleeve. And then the 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael, with this big heart. So yeah, I just think that you need more romance in your life. Maybe if you've got plenty of romance, maybe that's really good for you. It's kind of making me think of like, when people fall in love, and it's like people are like, you're glowing. They're giving me, I feel pretty. I can see the actress in that song. I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I'm gonna just stop and make a note of some of your songs that are coming through. Hold on. I've also just realised that I've got a blue pen all over my hands. The colour blue could be significant for you as well. I can't remember why I was getting blue for you, but I ended up using a blue pen. Okay. The sun. Why is Gemini? I'm a little bit off center today. My kid has been using my the arm that I use to hold, like the contraption I use to kind of like hold up the camera, and of course, like I've tried to put it back onto its position and it's just all off center and off position now, so I'm kind of like trying to angle everything correctly, and it just feels very unnatural to me. Maybe there is something about posing, like posing for photos. How kind of like you can see how kind of actually she looks kind of awkward. It's not a natural pose, so it could be something about learning how to pose your body for photos. Maybe you're anticipating people are going to want to take photos, photos at like the Christmas party. There's some really, really good like YouTube tutorials. There's probably tutorials on like other platforms as well. And if you go, there's specifically one where if you Google something like, or if you put into YouTube, a photographer's tips on how to pose models, because like the photographer's the one who's looking through the lens and knows what looks good and what doesn't look good. That's a really good one if I remember, and I probably won't, I'll be honest. I'll try and put it in the community section. But yeah, it's kind of like sit slightly to the side, lift your butt cheek up so that it's not like squished down. It looks like sleeker. Kind of suck your tummy in, make yourself long, like stick your arm out from the body, because if you stick your arm against your body, you kind of got to get like the flabby bingo wing. So it's kind of like you jut your arm out a little bit, to make it look slimmer. Like there's all these tips for posing, but it is a very unnatural position to sit in. So I'm kind of getting that as well, because the sun can talk about being in the spotlight. So I don't know if maybe there's something about maybe there is something about like maybe social media, or having the spotlight on you in some sort of way. So this could just be like your reputation at work, or your reputation in a social group. It's almost like you could be seen as too attractive. Again, like let's take gender out of this, but it could be something like maybe you do take a really good photo, and maybe you really do work your angles, and maybe you're very good at kind of even if it's not anything to do with like photography, maybe you're just really good at kind of like putting your best face forward kind of thing. Just is that a phrase? Have I just made that up? You're really good at kind of like putting on a good show. Like when you go out, you kind of, maybe even like without intentionally doing it, maybe you just kind of like, you do your makeup perfectly, you've been watching lots of makeup tutorials, you get your hair done nice, and you're just laughing and joking with your friends, and you look amazing. And even if it's not kind of like stereotypically beautiful, and I think I know a lot of my Gemini friends have been very, very pretty. But even if you're not kind of like stereotypically pretty, it's like vivaciousness, because Mercury and Gemini are very, very, is it called mercurial energy? I might be using that wrong. It's a very vivacious, kind of like excitable, sparkly energy. And I just kind of feel like with flutter, I feel like you've made somebody's heart a flutter. So I think it's like you're just laughing and joking with your friends and kind of like, chatting away. And it's like the energy of that is kind of like sparkly is the way it's coming through. So I want to say, if there's something going on where you have been sparkling, right? You have been really in the spotlight. I want to say it's very intimidating, because if somebody's like really likes you, and maybe you're even trying to attract them, so you're like, oh, I have to look my best to attract this person. It could be they're almost looking at you and saying, oh my God, they're too good to be true. Like they're so funny and they're so beautiful. Like, why would they even be interested in me? They must have so many options, so many admirers. They must be like lining up. So why would I talk to them? It's that thing of like, do you ever experience this where I guess it's not related to any specific gender, but I can be having a really good day, right? I can look in the mirror and think, oh God, I really like the way I'm looking today. Makeup worked out well, hair worked out well, I've got a new outfit on, I feel really good in it, sun's shining, I'm gonna go for a walk. And it's like not that I'm looking to get like approval or anything like that. I want to look good for me, right? There's a funny kind of TikTok going around now. It's like, I don't dress for men. I dress as though if a portal opened and I fell through time and I went back into like a historical period, I'd kind of blend in for a bit. I don't know. It's a funny. I completely misquoted that, but I thought it was funny. But yeah, it's kind of like, when you think you look good, like nobody kind of bats an eyelid. But I can walk up the street kind of like, haven't brushed my hair, maybe I'm going to like the shop or the supermarket or something, haven't brushed my hair, haven't slept, no makeup, I absolutely stink. If someone had got close to me, I would stink. And like, I can just feel really like, like I've crawled out of the bog. And it's like, I'll be getting wolf whistles and, like guys will be kind of like giving me a cheeky side eye. And I'm like, what is going on? And my theory is it's because you're more approachable, right? It's like the guys feel like they've got a chance if you look like, like this, like Stig of the Dump or something. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, maybe she's in my, I don't know what it is. It's the strangest thing, because you do get guys who are like overconfident, right? It's like balls to the wall, and go and chat up the most beautiful supermodel in the room. And then people are like, how on earth? I think there's like a confidence thing. So, and the thing is with the sun is confidence. So it's almost like, I don't think spirit is saying to you, Gemini, be less confident, like be more ugly. But there could be something to do with like, maybe you don't have to put in as much effort to be the center of attention, or the most beautiful girl in the room, or the most, the most rizzy guy in the room. It's like you just, I don't know. Let's pull some clarifiers. Hopefully that's making sense to you. And again, I do think my especially my Gemini female friends, so attractive. Okay. Oh, time for a nap. Maybe you're just doing too much. I don't know. I'm going to put those back in because they kind of all fell out. Oh, having said that, time for a nap, imagine, and loyal heart. Yeah, maybe you've been doing too much. Maybe it's like, if you just sleep and kind of like dream about your perfect person, then it'll kind of manifest, almost like what you dream about, comes about, kind of thing. I am getting patted on the back so much in this reading. Sorry, it happens a lot. It's like, it feels like one of my spirit guides coming on and kind of like encouraging me. It's like I get this like, it feels like somebody's got the hand on my back, but I'm getting it so much in your reading, and it's almost like it's so familiar now that I don't always notice it, but it's very, 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 very strong in your reading. Just as a side note, maybe somebody does kind of pat you on the back or something. Can you explain the sun for me, please? Or give me more information about what Gemini is being asked to give up? Maybe you are sleeping too much, I don't know. All it glitters. Very, very Leo energy. Maybe this is something to do with a Leo or somebody with Leo placements. It could be, just your need, because Leo energy can be about kind of like the ego, and not necessarily having a big ego, but needing attention, like needing somebody to come in and give you the compliments and stroke your ego, or needing to needing to be praised, needing encouragement, needing validation. So it's almost like stop needing validation. Maybe it is something to do with social media, right? It's kind of like you've been chasing something, chasing a dream, kind of like follow the yellow brick road kind of thing. But Spirit's saying you don't need that. There is this thing about the sun and the gold. Can you see like the sun here and the sun here? It's like shining down on the gold. So maybe it is you've been chasing some kind of something, you've been pursuing something maybe that's associated with wealth, and it doesn't have to be money, right? All that glitters. It could just be a lifestyle. You've been chasing a certain lifestyle, and Spirit's kind of saying, hey, that's not it's not going to fulfill you in the way that you think it is. What could fulfill you, the missing piece for you, could be more to do with the heart. So what is Spirit telling Gemini to embrace? What is Spirit asking Gemini to do more of? Mending. So there could be a relationship that needs mending. Maybe you've closed your heart off to someone. Normally that's a protective thing, right? We get hurt, so we get a bit cold. You are an air sign, so Queen of Swords, King of Swords could easily be you. It could also be something to do with like needing to get away with somebody. And again, it doesn't have to be, it says romance, but it doesn't have to be romance. It could just be a relationship where the heart's involved. So it could even be like a sibling, just needing to kind of like spend some time together, talk things through. Yeah. And I'm getting patted on the back again. It's crazy. So yeah, it could just be something like, or it could even be like, this is two different people. You've had your heart broken. And so you need to kind of like spend time with the sibling, and, and kind of like have that kind of like different form of love to kind of heal that. And then, and then get back out there for some of you. Let's keep going. Sorry, I told you it's going to be really off center. It's kind of driving me a bit crazy. I kind of need something to kind of tell me where the center is. And you've got imagine again. So imagine something better for yourself, right? Use the power of imagination. You could have Pisces placements, or Pisces could be doing something in your chart. Maybe check out what's going on in your 12th house. What else is going on, please? What is Gemini being asked to give up? Bridges, which is interesting, and the Moon card. Okay, the Moon card in this deck can talk about like silver screen, kind of like, you know, like the heroines of the silver screen, sort of over dramatic. I don't want to say that word. I'm just thinking how to say this carefully, because I think there is some stereotyping, and there's some antiquated ideas, but at the same time, we do have physical bodies that have, you know, certain processes that come along with certain emotions. You see the moon on here. I got the word menopausal. So there could be somebody around you who is menopausal, or you could be going through the menopause, and it's creating some more kind of dramatic feelings, which again doesn't happen to everybody. You know, everybody experiences that differently, and it's not something to be ashamed about. It's just something to be self-aware about. And, you know, if you need to get some kind of like hormone replacement therapy or consult with a doctor, and I'm not saying this is you, it could be, because it's kind of saying what you need to let go of. So I feel like it could be somebody around you with the bridge card, because the bridge card talks about building bridges and kind of like mending relationships, which is interesting because you are being encouraged to mend something, but you're being asked to stop pursuing this. Just trying to understand what they're telling me a little bit here, because before they said menopausal, so I hear like I'm kind of empathic, kind of psychic-y, so which I laugh at myself when I say that, but it's true. I do hear things and then it turns out to be something. And so yeah, before I heard that, what I was kind of thinking myself was, with the sun and all it glitters and this kind of card here and getting patted on the back again, it feels to me like chasing some kind of stardom, chasing some kind of with Imagine as well, like chasing some kind of dream, or chasing some kind of, just look at this like moon as well. I don't know if there's something about, you know, the crescent moon for you. There has been a lot of stuff coming through about the sun and the moon, the idea of kind of like yin and yang. Okay, I need a little bit more information. I'm going to keep pulling cards because I'm starting to get something, and I just want to make sure that I'm getting the right thing. Here as well with the stork, right? It's like the storks are kind of like getting the nest ready. So I do wonder if it's something to do with the moon and the what I've heard. I do wonder if it's something to do, and it's funny because it's the Queen of Cups, and that kind of silver screen energy does make me think of the Queen of Cups, which would be Cancerian energy, but it doesn't have to be a Cancer. It could be somebody with a placement. And the Eight of Cups is kind of like something missing. So it could be something about wanting children. Somebody could be confused about whether they want children or not, or about how to go about having children. Perhaps if they haven't got a partner, you know, they want children, but they don't necessarily want a partner. I'm getting patted on the back so much in this reading. It could be that you've got some big time spiritual support happening, gems. Definitely something about the crescent moon as well. Okay, what is Gemini being encouraged to embrace going into 2024? That one? Does it want to come or go? Yeah. And you've got a flip. Yeah, more romance. Something about the stars as well, like written in stars. Yeah, somebody's wishing for romance big time. Keep doing it. The universe wants you to lean into that. Like this is like romance. This is the romantic queen. There's kind of like a sexy queen who's a bit more queen of wands, and this is a bit more queen of cups. So again, she's got kind of like the book. Maybe you're writing romance novels. Maybe you want to be a romance novelist. Yeah, very romantic, very much of the heart space. The wishing well as well talks about having a lot to give, right? It's kind of like that source will never be depleted. You can always pull from it. And so, in terms of emotions, that's kind of like, the emotions in a situation will never be depleted. The romance will always be there. The feelings will always be there. Maybe there's a wish you know, maybe somebody has your heart. Maybe he's not holding his own heart. I always read this as like he's handing out his heart to you, but maybe this is the man who holds your heart, right? You've given your heart away to somebody, and it doesn't feel like you're brokenhearted. I mean, we've still got cards to pull, and I haven't seen anything to say kind of like broken heart yet. There is a broken heart in this deck, and we're not seeing that. So it doesn't feel like a situation that's broken your heart. It feels like a situation where your heart is still very much invested in this. This person still has your heart. Could be writing to them perhaps. And yet you've got this thing about like it being under lock and key or needing mending. Excuse me a second. Okay, let's keep going because I don't want these readings to be too long. It's 30 minutes already. What else is Gemini being encouraged to give up? Adjudication. So there could be actually all the glitters adjudication. There could be a situation where maybe there is some kind of court proceedings, or you need somebody to be kind of what's that word? Not an advocate, but kind of like the go-between of you and another person. Maybe there is somebody who's a bit over emotional in this situation. I think Capricorn had the Sun card. Their reading was very confusing to me, because for Capricorn, it was like they were leaving. It was like they were leaving their heart in a situation. So it's kind of like, how could I leave the situation when my heart's there? So it was as though they were leaving a bad relationship, but the child had to stay in the place that they were leaving, right? So it's kind of like. I don't know. So it could be like a paternity thing, right? Not a paternity thing, like a parental rights thing. I can't think of the word that I'm trying to think of. My left ear is really itchy now. What's going on with my ears? Custody battle, that's the one. Definitely feels like something. The child card hasn't come out, but there's definitely something about, because they said menopause to me, it could be something about like when people freeze their eggs, and then, because is that a thing? I don't really understand this process, but it could be relevant to someone, so I'm just going to mention it because it's an unusual message, so I feel like I want to lean into it a little bit because it's such an unusual one to come through. It feels really specific to someone. It has that feeling of like being in a relationship and maybe being on like your 20s or your 30s and being like, I don't know, okay, maybe facing the menopause and being like, okay, well, we might still want a child one day. So what we're going to do is, we're going to fertilize these eggs and kind of like freeze them or whatever they do with them. And then, maybe we could get a surrogate, but then that relationship breaking down, say those two people get divorced or something, and, but maybe one person still wants to have a child, but the other person's like, well, I don't give you the right to use the fertilized eggs because I don't want another child with you. It could be that kind of situation where it's like somebody's fighting for the right to. Oh god, that's a really specific situation. You'll have to let me know, maybe leave me a like or something if that's your situation. Very specific. It's not going to be for everybody. Let's find out what you've been asked to embrace, the family room. Yeah, this definitely feels like getting at home with the family, or getting at home with a loved one of some description, right? It's something where your heart's invested, and just spending time with them. And like, it could be that kind of situation where um you know, like, life gets in the way sometimes, and you can kind of get quite stressed, and you can take it out on a partner, where, you know, sometimes it's almost like Christmas itself, you know, like everybody gets not everybody gets 2 weeks off. I know not everybody gets 2 weeks off. I'm saying it could be a situation, a scenario perhaps, where, you know, it just happens that everybody gets like 2 weeks off, you know, kids are off school, you know, workplaces shut down for the holidays. You get to just be at home with your family, with your loved ones, and just remember why, you know, remember the good things without all the stresses of everyday life. Could be that kind of situation. Like, I do feel like whatever's going on for you, Gemini, you're being asked to open your heart more, right? You're being asked to maybe put down your defenses a little bit, and kind of bring love into the situation. Even if this is a situation where, you know, you've got no intention of getting back together with somebody, but you could be kind of saying, okay, we know that this isn't going to work, and yet, you know, we have kids together, you know, perhaps, or, you know, we've got shared friends, shared family. Let's make this work as friends, even if we can't, because I still love you. I still remember all the good times. I just don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. It could be something like that, where it's kind of like, you know, as friends, we get on great. Maybe, I don't know, right? I'm just reading what the cards are saying. You've got a house as well. Definitely feels like you're being encouraged to go somewhere, right? Go to somewhere that feels like family, feels like home. Um, what do I want to clarify then? I do want to get some tarot cards. There it is. There's the defensiveness. Explain the sun for me. Why is Gemini being asked to give up the sun? Yeah, it feels like stepping out of the kind of almost intentionally taking yourself out of the limelight, or not kind of like vying for somebody's attention anymore. It almost feels like being pushed out of a situation, feeling like you're on your own, and then kind of trying to get their attention. So it could even be like, you know, when you break up with somebody, and you kind of like do the revenge dress thing, and you're like out on social media, and you're like posting pictures of yourself looking gorgeous with your friends, and it's kind of like, but it's all with the intention of getting this person's attention, and kind of like getting back, getting the retention back. So I want to say, don't do that. And it could even be take yourself off social media for a while, kind of spend some time on your own, kind of deal with your issues of FOMO, um, because all that glitters is not gold, right? Like, a situation that you're chasing, or a situation that you feel pushed out of, may not be all it's cracked up to be. Oh, there you go. Mentioning Capricorn, right? Queen of Pentacles. Definitely feels a little bit like somebody in this situation could be a little bit too interested in how things look, right? Sort of like a keeping up with the Kardashians energy. Like, it all looks really good on social media. You know, you've got the holidays, like you've got the holiday photos where everybody looks happy. You know, you've got the fancy car, you've got the nice house, but again, you've got the Eight of Cups there, which tells me something's missing from this situation. Like, it's not as good as it looks behind closed doors, I want to say, in some kind of situation. And I'm not saying it's necessarily you. It could be something that somebody's experiencing around you. And you could even be getting told to keep your nose out of it, kind of thing. You know, you don't want to get invested. You don't want to get embroiled in that. Because there is, with that moon card there, the moon card in the Lenormand deck, which is this one here, it has a different meaning to the moon card in the tarot, just in case anybody's querying that. Yeah, because you're being asked to not build bridges in this situation. It feels like there's too much drama. Yeah, Hierophant, it could be a marriage. Definitely could be something to do with like something going through the courts, or like a legal system. Could be something to do with like grandparents or tradition. Could be workplace. Here's those keys again. Seeing the gold keys a lot, right? Yeah, I want to say this is a situation where you just need to keep out of it, Gemini. Um, because you had that intuitive message right at the beginning of the reading that said, have I messed this up? Did I say the wrong thing? So it almost feels like you don't want to, it's almost like if the universe is pushing you out of this situation, you know, if the universe is like, get out of this situation, shut the door on Gemini, it's because the universe knows that you shouldn't be there, right? Kind of like you're better off out of it. Okay, so tell me about the good stuff. Let's forget about the bad stuff. Let's go for what's all this romance? What's all this heart stuff? Whoa, you might be surprised. You're getting a new perspective on something where you feel, it could be the concept of betrayal, right? Something is shocking you, but it's a good kind of shock. It's a good kind of surprise because it's the Two of Cups, right? So like somebody who you really like is surprising you. Maybe they're giving you like a surprise party, or they've got a surprise for you. Change of perspective on a painful ending. Change of perspective, because this situation is mending, right? Let me get another card on that Ten of Swords. It could be that you're getting a change of perspective on relationships itself. You know, if you've come from a string of bad relationships where, you know, you've been betrayed a lot, it could actually be quite shocking and surprising to find somebody who is right for you. You know, to find somebody who doesn't betray you. No, there's sabotage. Right, hang on. That sabotage thing was coming up. I feel like I mentioned it in Aries' reading. I've been seeing, not even in this deck, right? I've got two copies of this deck. This is the official deck. And then when I first started buying cards, I accidentally bought like, I think it's like a copy. I'm not even sure it's like an official version of the deck. It's kind of like smaller. So basically I use that other copy myself all the time. It's kind of like my own personal deck. And then this is kind of the deck that I use for tarot readings, just because of the energy involved, right? That deck is very, very much of my energy now. So from my deck, the Seven of Swords and the Ten of Swords, these exact cards, but from a different like copy of this deck, keep on coming out together. And then you just had it there as well. So it feels like sabotage. Let me just get another one on that Ten of Swords. Eight of Cups. Something missing. So the new perspective you're having on some kind of betrayal or backstabbing is associated with this Eight of Cups, which is here. Feel like you're going to be surprised to learn something about a situation. And you've got that Two of Cups as well. Right, hang on. Let me tell me about mending. Why is mending here? King of Pentacles. So it could be, there definitely could be something about marriage. You've got the Hierophant, the Queen of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles. Those three cards showing up together are like marriage. Normally. The King and Queen of Pentacles are normally married in the tarot. So that does look to me like husband and wife. Can also be things like business partners, right? There's often shared responsibilities and shared resources with the King and Queen of Pentacles, especially if they come out from the same deck. If they come out from different decks, it can kind of be like similar people, but who are having a similar life experience, but not necessarily together, right? So it could be a wife and a husband who are married to other people. But because they're from the same deck, it's definitely looking like this is I'm hearing like keep it in the family and a family matter. But there's something being mended here. Yeah, so like mending this relationship. Don't know how you feel about that. I don't know how you feel about that, Gemini. And then you've got the Four of Cups, like, nope, not mending that relationship. Nope, not having that. I'm just having a bit of my tea, guys. Oh my god. Okay. Sipping the tea there on that one. I don't know. It's what the Spirit's telling you. Maybe it's like for the good of the children, you need to get along with this person. It could be that kind of thing. Spirit, what are you helping Gemini with, please? What are you helping Gemini with? Could be some kind of misunderstanding as well. You know, like you could be married to somebody and you could have felt betrayed about a certain situation, but they could be a fresh perspective coming in on that, where you're seeing things differently than you did at the time. Because sometimes we can just see the hurt, right? We just have the moment of like, oh my god, and then like time can pass and we can look back at it and be like, oh, that's what really happened with that. Maybe I didn't need to. I don't know. I feel like maybe somebody overreacted to something. Okay. Here we go. Starseed Oracle, the Great Severing. And it's exactly what we've been talking about. You've got boundaries there as well. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? So it does feel like you've had some kind of conflict, but this is softening, right? It's kind of like if there was quite a lot of anger and frustration and combativeness in the past. I do feel like it does feel like that that kind of situation of where terrible partners but brilliant friends, when two parents are together, perhaps. I mean, maybe it's your parents, your own parents. It could be that thing of like when your parents are together living in the same house, they're at each other's necks, but as soon as they break up and they're like, do you know what, let's stay friends for the kids, let's go on, do our own thing, they can be like best friends, like best parents ever, as long as they're not together, as long as they live in separate houses. It could be that sort of thing where get on great. It could even be that kind of thing where two people were best friends and they maybe got into a relationship and thought, we should never have made this romantic. It could be that kind of thing too. The Great Severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, and softening to love. That's the thing. Just dropping things, guys. Sorry if that's woke anybody up there. Hey, let's see. The Great Severing. And it can be even that kind of thing of, it could be the thing of how, if you've been, say you've been getting divorced, right? And you've been going through the courts and, you've been splitting the assets and working out who's got the kids on which days, that the splitting up process can be incredibly stressful and incredibly painful, and that process itself can bring up a lot of anger and resentment and conflict. And as soon as the hammer goes down and you know where you stand and the stress is gone of that situation, you can be like, oh right, great, let's get on with it, and all the tension can be gone. It could be something like that. I'm just looking for the card, guys. Hang on a sec. I can't find it. I'm sorry, this is taking me ages. The Great Severing, where is it? Is it even there? Right, 72. I think I was looking under S for some unknown reason. Okay, love the artwork on these. So these are Rebecca Campbell and Daniel Noel. This particular deck is the Starseed Oracle. Mars energy. This is a shadow card, one that may feel confrontational. Don't be afraid. It's here to bring to the surface anything that's standing in the way of letting love in. There you go. Like, it's back to what we were saying, right? The spirit wants you to let love in. The warring planet of Mars is our constant reminder that it's often important to soften, forgive, and find our way back to love. There are many things in the human experience that make it difficult for our heart and soul to stay open to the never-ending source of love. We're all wounded, and our unconscious wounds inflict wounds on others. It can feel like a never-ending dance we can never escape. I'm getting that hand thing on my back again. If we aren't careful, before long we see the world as a scary and dangerous place where fear and anxiety roam free. If this card surfaces, it could be for two reasons. Firstly, for you to acknowledge the difficult emotions, situations, conflicts, wounds and fears that are causing you pain and anxiety. And secondly, for you to find your way back to love. When we're hurt, it's normal to close off our heart to the world, to let the painful experience confirm the agony of separation in earthly life. Soften and find your way back to love anyway. When fear, anxiety, and paranoia paralyze you, it's normal to want to hide away from others and the world. Come out of your cave and soften your heart anyway. We're all innocent children. Sorry, we're all innocent children spinning our way around the world. Find a way to see the innocence in all people, especially yourself. And I love that on that mending card, it is like two little children. That's so cute. Okay, and then the Starseed Soul Inquiry is, how are you cutting yourself off from love? How can you soften towards those who have hurt you? Really interesting card, interesting energy, and it's not an easy reading, right? It's not an easy, you know, to choose love in really difficult situations is a hard thing to do, but it's an important thing to do, right? Not even for the other people involved, but for yourself. It's a kindness to yourself, you know, to not close off. Who are your spirit guides right now? Who's helping you out here? Who is helping you out? Who are your spirit guides at this time? So this can even be like people on earth whose spirit is working through. So take whatever ever resonates. If it's a specific deity that you associate with, absolutely take that. If not, it could be more about what that person personifies, right? The energies that are personified by that deity. Or it could even be somebody in earthly form, like a person that you know who this card reminds you of, who could be very helpful and beneficial to you at this time. So who is around helping Gemini out at this time? Here you go. Archangel Samuel, unconditional love. I love it. Look, there's so much love in this reading. It's really beautiful. And he's also got heart healing, which again, mending the door to romance, and self-love. I mean, giggity. Really beautiful. So again, this could be a deity that you want to call upon. It could be somebody, you know, reminds you of a friend who's really helping you out, you know, good person to talk to, all those kinds of things. You've also got Archangel Jeremiel, reflections, dreams, and visions, which is interesting because you do have this here. Definitely, I mean, I always think if you get two vaguely similar looking people on these cards, that this could definitely be somebody that you know who kind of has this look about them, because there is quite a lot of diversity in this deck. So I think if you get two similar looking, that's kind of indicating an actual person. But yeah, because you've got like dreams and stuff, definitely something going on with Pisces energy there. This kind of lady gives me Pisces energy too. So yeah, check out if you've got any Pisces placements. Maybe this person's a Pisces. I do associate Pisces energy both with the concept of the imagination, because they're ruled by Neptune, and unconditional love, because I associate Pisces energy with the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups carries, or the Knight of Cups, and they carry the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Cups represents unconditional love. Just to explain that association. Doesn't have to be a Pisces, but there's something about Pisces energy for you. Maybe you've got like Pisces, Venus, or something like that, because Venus to me is the heart. Okay. Or maybe Pisces Mars, because it does mention Mars energy. What is the advice from Spirit for Gemini at this time, please? Advice from Spirit for Gemini. Can we get some advice, please? I'm hearing closure. Expect powerful change for new moon eclipse. There you go. Change is coming. I think you're going to be surprised about something actually with that tower. Cool. And there you go. A new romantic cycle begins. New moon in Libra. Gorgeous. I love that reading, Gemini. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with me. I really love the message, because I've got so much, again, I've got so much Libra in my chart. So I've got Libra Venus myself, right? So I'm all about the romance. I'm like, do the romance, Gemini. It's because it's just my cup of tea. So I hope that's helpful. Please take care of yourselves, and I will see you again soon. Bye, friends.